Hey guys, Logan here. We just got the full patch note for update 4.0 that will go live tomorrow on April 19th. We got 400 plus fixes here and changes, but I will only go through the most relevant stuff, but I will of course leave a link in the description down below if you wanna check them all out. It's insane how many fixes we're gonna get with this update. But yeah, let's dive right in. Starting with this, the VoIP is coming in this update. There are two voice chat channels to choose between, there's party and squad. Settings for VoIP can be adjusted via options, sound voice and chat while in game. And the scoreboard that we got in update 3.3 will now also be available during the end of round screen, which is a good thing. Weapon attachments are going to change a bit. With update 4.0 we overhauled the behavior of many weapon attachments to ensure their impact when customizing your weapon is unique and noticeable. Previously some attachments had effects that were too similar to others and it was unclear what the impact on your weapons would be when switching between them. So overall changes to the attachments to make them more special and unique and not to have the same stats like other attachments. In general changes, some slight improvements to the overall kill assist and many fixes for equipped attachments and saved customization that would sometimes be reset to default after joining. That's been fixed. And airplane and helicopter sensitivity settings have been added to the options menu. Progression and unlocks, adjusted ribbons to make them easier to unlock across all modes, especially in rush. Cosmetics and weapon attachments are now correctly marked as new when unlocked. That's a good thing, so you know what you unlocked. And the XP from support actions have been increased and some objective actions have been decreased to compensate. Like for example healing, repairing, resupplying went from 5 to 20 XP, but to compensate that, objective captured down from 375 to 200 XP. Maps will see a lot of smaller changes and it will take a really long time to go through them all. But sure, they're great changes, but not that interesting. Some of the more relevant things are like the freeze effect on the HUD is less intense and the sprinklers do no longer deal damage to the player. But as I said, link in the description if you like to read through it all. Portal will see its fair share of changes. The name and the description is now auto-filled when creating an experience, and the fields of present experiences are now empty by default. And browsing experiences remembers your previously searched query, and resolved instance where the browser tabs didn't function correctly when applying custom filters. And other than that, there are several improvements done to Portal, so thank you guys. Okay, audio. The more interesting things here being the healing sound will now always play when Falk heals herself with this red pistol, and adjusted wingsuit audio for Sundance so that it's easier to hear for enemies, and the proc sensor will no longer emit that warning sound if no enemies are within reach, and added audio for birds on renewal. I don't know if we really needed that one, but okay, let's move on. Modes. Breakthrough is getting one thing. They fixed the air vehicles being able to spawn at the opponent's HQ in start a round. That's great. That's not a good thing when it does that. Rush fixed issues with Rush declaring the winning team prematurely or incorrectly. And deploying gadgets over Rush MCOMs should no longer prevent arming it, or disarming it I guess. And Conquest, they adjusted the spawn location to prevent spawning out of bounds. Sounds good to me. Moving over to soldier changes. They fixed an issue where the dead soldiers or friendly soldiers would block bullets. Fixed further instances of not being able to revive players when some of their body parts were clipping through assets or geometry. Fixed players not being able to place deployables in certain areas, and they fixed the issue where the player would not be able to jump or vault after reviving someone. There you have some great fixes, I must say. Now, here we have the specialist changes and we're going to take a closer look at Rao, Pike and Sundance here. They have received a more intense change to their traits. Here is Rao. They replaced the Trojan network with the thread perception trait. When Rao takes damage from enemy fire, he will automatically spot the enemy for himself. And Pike replaced the threat perception with eagle-eyed trait. Players damaged by Pike are now spotted for everyone. Well, I don't know, we will see how that will work out. And Sundance anti-armor grenades will now filter by angle and distance in a more accurate way, and have the same priority for air and ground vehicles. And that anti-armor grenade is no longer targeting Irish deployable cover or that shoot down sentry, so all good changes in my ears. Okay, now gadgets. Let's see what's coming here. Fixed an issue where the gadgets resupplied via the loadout crate caused the player not to be able to redeploy their chosen gadget later during that life. EMP effect from grenades no longer extend past their visual explosion radius. And they fixed an issue that allowed players to drop ammo and medical crates through thin walls. And the recoilless, the RPG and the SMAV will now one-shot the Ranger if it's a direct hit. Made it easier to place the insertion beacon. Carbix, I'm thinking about you there. You'll now spawn in the same direction where the insertion beacons is facing when spawning on it. So all those things are good to know. Weapons will also see a lot of smaller changes, and here you have some examples. They increased the PKP base recoil. That's really great news. That gun is like a laser beam. They got the AC-42 bullet damage drop-off increased, and the effective range has been lowered, making it more close combat weapon. Fixed an issue where weapons would have inconsistent dispersion or recoil, and also fixed an issue where they prevented bullets from dealing the correct damage amount, and they fixed the issue where it caused some players to be unable to shoot or ADS after exiting a vehicle. Some really nice fixes there. Vehicles. As outlined in our recent core feedback, we are adjusting the number of active vehicles across maps and modes, and you'll notice the first iteration of this change within this update. As an example of how that plays out on Breakthrough 64 for Kaleidoscope, here's how we adjusted the total available vehicle in the match per sector. Sector 1, that's 17 down to 13, Sector 2, 18 to 17, and Sector 3, 19 to 17. This sounds like that will be the case on all maps, but Kaleidoscope just an example. I don't know, but I'm curious to see how these changes will change the flow of the game. There are also a ton of smaller changes and fixes for the vehicles, and you can read them all in the link down below. Okay, there you have the most relevant fixes and changes that will come in update 4.0 that will go live tomorrow, Tuesday, April 19th. But I must say, damn, that's a lot of fixes. I'm really looking forward to playing the game tomorrow and see how everything works. But now I would like to hear what you think, so leave me a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, subscribe for more Battlefield content and hit that like if you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you in my next one. This is Logan, signing out.